Hi everyone. This is just something that I thought I should talk about. I saw this on Twitter, and it blew me away. This is the worst take anybody could ever have. I'm just gonna read it. It's this woman, Tulsi Gabbard, who I believe is uh, a member of Congress, a U.S. representative from Hawaii. Um, at Real Donald Trump, I fully support you on this. Please don't back down. The freedom and future of our country is at stake. And it's a retweet of something Donald Trump tweeted. Section 230 is a liability shielding gift from the U.S. to big tech, the only companies in America that have it, corporate welfare. It's a serious threat to our national security and election integrity. Our country can never be safe and secure if we allowed it to stand. The rest doesn't matter. This is just wrong. This is I'm not really. I guess I am political. I have strong political beliefs, but I don't tend to talk about them because they're not relevant. But this is completely relevant to anybody who uses the internet in any fashion. I'm gonna switch to what Section 230 actually is, and I'm gonna read what it is to you. Then I'm gonna tell you why these people are complete retards, and I'm gonna tell you why, if Section 230 is repealed, I won't be allowed to call them complete retards anymore. So, here we go. So here is the law. This is Section 230, Protections for Private Blocking and Screening of Offensive Material. It's part of a law called the Communications Decency Act of 1991, I think. I could be wrong. But here is the meat and potatoes of it. No provider or user of an interactive computer services shall be treated as the publisher or speaker of any information provided by another information content provider. No provider of an interactive computer service shall be held liable on account of any action voluntarily taken in good faith to restrict access or availability of material that provider or user considers to be obscene, lewd, filthy, excessively violent, harassing, or otherwise objectionable, whether or not such material is constitutionally protected or not, I guess. Any action taken to enable or make available information any action taken to enable or make available to information content providers or others the technical means to restrict access to material described in paragraph 1. So basically what this means is if you go on Twitter or YouTube or Instagram or Facebook or WhatsApp, or if you go into the chat of Overwatch or any other retarded game that you're playing and you say that Bill Clinton is a rapist, the internet service provider, the ISP, the website, the video game, is not liable for you calling Bill Clinton a rapist. Now, if Bill Clinton sees a screenshot or sees the video or the tweet of you saying that he is a rapist, theoretically, he could sue you because you're not really supposed to accuse people of crimes. It is potentially defamation if you do that. All right? If Bill Clinton was a crazy person and he wanted to sue you, he couldn't sue the website, he couldn't sue YouTube, he couldn't sue Twitter, he couldn't sue the game that you posted that chat in. If 230 is gone, Bill Clinton would be able to sue Twitter for the comments that you made. He'd be able to sue YouTube for the video that you made calling him a rapist. He'd be able to sue Blizzard for allowing you to call him a rapist in their chat. So that's part 1. And part 2 is you cannot sue a website for taking actions, and those actions are removing content that may upset their users. So if you are YouTube, you cannot be sued because somebody... Okay, let me rephrase this. If you are a weirdo and you're posting gore videos on YouTube and YouTube takes the gore videos down, you can't sue YouTube. You won't be allowed to sue YouTube for taking the gore video that you posted down because it is excessively violent, filthy, obscene, and otherwise objectionable. And that's fine because I shouldn't have to explain. If YouTube doesn't want that, or if companies, any internet service provider doesn't want gore videos on their platform, then they should be allowed to remove it. And that's kind of the gist of what this law is saying. Now, Donald Trump, the president of the United States right now, in his infinite wisdom, wants to repeal this. And of course, I can't read his mind, but I imagine that he wants to repeal this because Twitter is not nice to him. Twitter constantly flags his things as incorrect. He constantly, they constantly block people who support him. Twitter has a habit of restricting the accounts of people who are openly espousing a lot of conservative, or not even conservative, just like far-right conspiracy kind of things. And that's not something that Donald Trump is a fan of. Now, whether you think Twitter should be doing these things or not, it doesn't really matter because that doesn't have anything to do with Section 230. It has absolutely nothing to do with Section 230. If Section 230 is removed, Twitter will just say that you still won't be allowed to say the things that you aren't currently allowed to say. It won't change anything. You won't be allowed to go on Twitter and constantly say the N-word. Like, they'll just ban you. They don't want that. Section 230 is not the... It doesn't protect the user from just, like, being a complete retard. It's a protection for the company so that the companies aren't sued by crazy people. I don't even know what he thinks that repealing 230 will do. What it will actually do, here's what will actually happen. They'll just make the rules stricter. Websites will limit what you're allowed to say because they don't want to be held liable. They won't want to be held liable. It is easier for them to type up a list of things you are not allowed to say on their website than it is for them to constantly hire lawyers to say that they aren't liable, which if 230 is removed, then they will be liable. Like, that's how it is. They're not liable right now because of the innate protections of Section 230, but if it is, then they will. They will be held guilty, or they would be found guilty in those situations. So they're just gonna instantly delete and make everything extremely strict, which is not something you want, unless you're like an authoritarian person who doesn't want mean words to be said ever. It drives me crazy because all these people who support this, they're like, yes, we need freedom. No, this is the antithesis of freedom. This was created because companies were taking advantage of the lack of laws protecting early websites. It's just insane, and it makes me so angry that there are people that are stereotypically my free speech, give it to me, that are also in support of this, and it's just ridiculous. That's all I have to say. If you want a more educated opinion, I don't know where to find it. I don't have an exact link to it, but the owner of the website Kiwi Farms wrote an essay, not really an essay, but like a blog post on the website describing what 230 does in more detail that you should definitely check out. All right, thank you.